So just ready. We're going live in 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Adri True with REMAX,
Kevin True with REMAX.
and we're here to talk to you today about some home tips, everything related to real estate. So, Papa, you wanted to start with some first-time home buyer stuff.
The most exciting people to work with usually are first-time home buyers because they're first-time home buyers. It's very exciting to buy your first home. It's fun to coach them through, it's an investment, not just a place to live. And there's nothing more exciting to see a first-time home buyer moving into that first home. I just closed one last week with a guy who said he can't wait for his kids to see the house, and they were super excited, and it was just a real joy.
You've had a bunch of really fun first-time home buyers, like the people who didn't tell their kids, and they got the kids, they got all moved in, and then they got the kids blindfolded, and they came to the house, and they recorded it. That one was fun.
That was beautiful.
That was amazing. I love first-time home buyers, too. I was a first-time home buyer 5 years ago now, so that was quite an adventure. Sold my first house and then bought a house out in the country. So that's always exciting, too, to help buyers get from their first home to their next home. Families move up, those sorts of things. I think that's quite an adventure.
I was a first-time home buyer in 1984, just a few years ago, but it was exciting.
Yeah. Your first house came furnished.
Yeah. We always have fun showing houses to any buyers, and it's fun just to hear people's opinion about different things with the home, whether they like it or don't like it, or what features are unique and different. And it's always interesting to see what people like and don't like, and what features just really thrill them.
Yeah. Like yesterday, we had clients come in, and the wife wants to put in shelves rather than cabinets, and the husband's like, no, we're going with cabinets. And so seeing what also different opinions come from, different cultures as well, but also, different styles, different points of view. That's kind of fun. Yeah.
So how about funny showings? Have you ever had any of those?
Yeah, I had one a couple years ago where I had a property listed in Rock River, Wyoming, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere, and it was a property that was 20 miles outside of this little teeny town. And I took my friend with me, and we had our dogs in the back of my little two-door Jeep, and we drove, and we finally found the lady. She couldn't call me with any cell phone service. And she got in her four-door Jeep stuck in this big snowbank. And she was like, can you tow me out? And I was like, no, but I will call you a tow truck when we get back to service. So had to call her a tow truck. They got out there, they called me, and they were like, we finally found her. It was quite an adventure. Finally found the property. It was right next to this reservoir. I let my dog out. It's like -10 degrees, and she's like, I'm going in the water, Mom. And I was like, no, you're not. No. So we get these two dogs back in, we get driving, and my friend goes, well, this was much more of an adventure than I signed up for today. It was pretty fun. That was a good one. Just lots of times when we go out showing rural, I think that's kind of an adventure, just because you get out in the middle of wherever, and you got to be prepared for whatever's going to happen. So, yeah. How about you? You get a funny showing story you want to share?
I've never had anything funny happen.
I've never had anything funny happen.
So when you're ready for some fun and to look at houses, call the True team at REMAX.
Yeah, we'd love to walk you through some houses. Now, all right, so you were talking about new construction earlier. What are some things with new construction that you think are gonna stay relevant, and what are some things you think are gonna be trendy in the next couple of years that are, gonna seem, I guess, dated?
Good question.
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of unique architectural designs are new, and some people love them and some people don't love them, the same as all features. And I think we're gonna trend more towards that, and probably more green energy. The wind generators weren't as popular, but the solar cells seem to become the newer trend.
That's true.
And I think they're a lot easier to maintain, and I think we'll see more of that. I love to see different building products all the time, and things that are more efficient and better.
I think interior-wise, I think we're gonna see a shift away from sort of the neutrals, like the grays and the whites and the beige, and we're gonna see more colors is what I think, because we're starting to see that a little bit, like the kitchens have like the white countertops on the bottom or the white cabinets, but then like blue cabinets on top or something. I think we're gonna start seeing a lot more of that like color brought back in. I think the neutrals were really popular because you could throw whatever you want on them, but I think people are starting to get away from that. So that's my guess. I'd love to hear what some of our viewers or our subscribers or whatever you want to say on YouTube or Facebook have to say about it. I'm curious as to what people think. I also think we're going to stray away from, wood grains, like the wood grain vinyl. I think we're going to go to more like marble and sort of those naturals still, but I think we're going to go away from the wood grains.
I think we're going to go to fluorescent green interior.
Just everything green. Maybe we're going to go to more wood.
Fluorescent green.
We're going to go to more wood grains instead. There's a Seinfeld joke in there. What
What's
else
your
might...
biggest tip for a first-time home buyer?
Oh, is that a question we have on there? Oh, beautiful. I would say the biggest tip is to get pre-qualified, to know your price range, to know your debt to income, all that, but to also get pre-qualified through at least 2 lenders just to explore what their options are. Because WCDA, which is the first-time homebuyer program in Wyoming, is, pretty standard, but some lenders offer different packages, they offer different incentives. So I would check with at least 2 lenders and always see what that might look like. And then once you know that price range, then it's about, getting ready to look at houses, determining what's your wants, what's your needs, that sort of thing. So that would be my advice. What about you?
I think just as important is to get a seasoned agent that you can trust.
Yeah.
That way they know what to do. They know that you're going to make a good decision that you won't regret in the future. And then definitely have inspections done so that you don't buy something that's going to cost you a lot of money in the future.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too.
Because you're going to be on a budget, and most likely that's a very important thing. Is it's an investment again.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Something on that line is like looking for in a house things that what adds value versus what might be a lot of maintenance or a lot of upkeep. One of the things that I looked for in my personal houses was that I wanted low maintenance exterior. So vinyl windows, steel siding, brick, those sorts of things. Whereas like hardboard siding needs painted a lot, older wood windows need upkeep, those sorts of things. So that would maybe be a good recommendation too, is just to look for, sort of those bigger ticket items being either upgraded or ready to go. That's a great observation, Pop. I like that.
And then features that help you have value when you sell.
Yeah,
Critically important.
yeah. And then speaking on solar panels, earlier we were talking about those in new construction. I think that if you are, as a buyer, buying a home with solar panels, if the seller pays them off, knowing what that looks like on your energy bill, because that's kind of fun. We sold 2 the last year that had solar panels, and the sellers paid both of them off, and that was a really great thing for the buyer, I felt like.
It makes me wonder if builders will start to have solar installed on new construction.
I know, that'd be a really cool thing, especially some of those different builds like we're seeing with the architecture, like out south or out in Saddle Ridge with the different slopes. Seeing those built, with solar panels incorporated could be really interesting, I think. Yeah. Were there any other questions that we missed, Tara?
None yet, but
None
I do
yet.
have one.
Yeah.
So you both have been in real estate for how long?
Oh, that's a good one.
I've been in it for 19 years this year.
19, oh yeah, I was gonna say 2006. I've been in since 2012, so this will be my 13th year as of March. Or no, I'm sorry, as of August. So, yeah, both of us have
Time flies.
quite a bit of experience in this, yeah. Yeah. His first listing, I remember, was a house out east of town that was this big house on 40 acres. And if you listed that same house today, I think it'd be probably like triple or quadruple the value that you listed it for then. So, and the first listing I had was a co-listing with him over in Sun Valley. It was a little brick house, and it was a really good friend of my grandma's, and so that was kind of fun to get to help Jim get to sell his house. So those were kind of fun listings, I think, to talk about. Your first listing and your first buyer.
And those are those houses you look back and think, I wish I would have bought it.
Yeah. Shoot, your first buyers were kind of fun. That's a kind of fun story. When you had you'd have to drive people around in your W.G. Dale van, and Dave bought that first house over on the south side.
Yeah, when I first started, I worked 2 jobs for 2.5 years, so I would show up in bib overalls and a electrical company van and take you to show houses at 4 or 5 o'clock after I was off work. So I had the okay from my boss, but it was different and it was challenging, and I got through it.
He sold his first house to these guys, and the guy who he sold it to was working on his crew, and he had an inn where he could call in and say, "Hey, Brenda, can you play this song, on the radio?" And so he got them to play Our House by
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
On the radio.
This guy was 385 pounds, and it made him cry.
That was amazing. I thought that was a really fun story.
Yeah, it was pure luck, but it was.
Sometimes that's all you
story.
need is just a little bit of luck. So, anything else on there yet, Tara? No questions? Cool. I guess my first buyer was a gal who was a VA single mom, and we looked. This makes me feel, like it's such a different thing. We looked at like 100 houses before she decided on something. And back then, that was what was available. Like, we showed her houses only for maybe 2 or 3 months. And it was a different market at a different time. And I always think back on that and I think, oh my gosh, she bought that house for how much? So it was quite a different time and quite a different market, but I think it was really fun to have that as a first sort of experience, and then going from there. Some fun floor calls that led to this guy's buying this house for how much? So those are kind of fun. We've got a ton of different stories from being in real estate this long. We've definitely gone through a lot of fun and interesting adventures, I guess I would call it.
It's been a great ride at REMAX, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Other questions? Anything, Tara, you got? No? Pop, you got anything you want to share?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. I was going to say, I think we still have some time on our live. Is that right?
Well, it's up to you. We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, thank
Red,
you
white,
guys.
and blue's the next fad.
Red, white, and blue's the next fad. There we go. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it, and hope you have a great day. Stay warm in all this weather.